Little Scouse weasel tried to choke me out from behind. I got my thumb and I just jammed it in his eye and he had to let go immediately.
You pulled him by the ponytail. Did you say he was a tranny?
Yeah, he is a tranny. Was it professional? No. Was it funny? Yes. Do I regret it? No.
Did you thoroughly enjoy it?
Yeah. You can watch me beat up a Chilean pickpocket woman.
Woman?
Yeah. She stabbed me in the head. Don't touch me, Fred. Don't touch me, Fred. That shitty Thai shit doesn't work on me. And then I elbowed him and kicked him and it turns out that Muay Thai shit actually totally does work on him. And they tried to do it again and I feigned a kick and he went, I clotheslined him. My friend Nick punched him in the face and then Pasha pepper sprayed him as well. Going past schools now, it's like dominoes, like, you know, spot the white kid. It's a great shame what's happened to Europe and the fact that there's that much antisocial behaviour, there's that much crime, there's that many people that are on drugs, passed out on the street, that many criminals that we've let in from all over the world.
Do you think you broke his face?
He's probably from Senegal, so he's probably got like a bone density like stronger than adamantium. They all came up to us, they were like, all of Africa are looking for you or whatever. I'm like, okay. All of a sudden, 20 guys show up. Range Rover, all the rest of it, I was like, taxi.
Do you ever think to yourself, I'm going to kill someone one day? Fred, welcome back.
Hello.
So it's been maybe 9-10 months since you were last here?
Maybe longer. Yeah. I think I was here in like April or March, something, I'm not sure.
Is that how long it's been? Well, I tell you what, yours is one of the most popular
I'm number 3.
Interviews that I've done throughout my entire podcast career. And I know that you have done a hell of a lot since you sat opposite me. What's the closest you've come to actually dying since the last time I saw you?
I don't feel like I've come close to dying at any point, I don't think. I mean,
am I over-egging the situation?
I think you must be. unless you can remind me of the situation, which I have forgotten, which I guess I can tell you more about it. But
well, I think a lot of situations you put yourself in could potentially lead to severe injury at the very least. And quite potentially death. I mean, look at the way the left operate now. Look at Charlie Kirk.
That's true.
Look at 𝐸𝐻𝐸𝐻𝐿.
That's true.
So
if I spent all my time thinking about that, I wouldn't be able to do my job, I suppose. So I'm sure there are loads of times and places where something bad could have happened to me. But if I'm busy thinking about that, I can't like respond to the situation appropriately. And me holding myself in such a manner that I'm not looking like I'm fazed by it is what might discourage people from doing it in the first place. Because, like, you know, if I threaten to beat you up or whatever, and you're like, all right, well, okay, then I'm kind of like, well, it's weird. Why is this guy not like, you know, recognizing the threat? And maybe it's my own naivety, or it's just the way I've been conditioned from working doors for ages, because people are like yapping at you all the time and shouting at you, and everyone's saying, oh, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to do this, whatever. I'm going to come back after the club's finished, and I'm going to come to you and shoot you. And at the end of it, you're just like, oh, whatever.
You know, when you're doing your street security compared to working the door, what do you say is more of a volatile environment?
The doors, really, because obviously the alcohol and drug content is what makes it more dangerous. It's safer a lot of the time because you've often got 4 or 5 guys with you, and so it's more entertaining because you can watch other people do extreme violence to each other rather than you having to deal with it yourself. So as long as I get you out of the club, it's someone else's responsibility after that. So yeah, obviously there's more volatility with random weirdos in Rochdale and stuff. But I kind of miss working the doors, honestly, even though it's like rubbish pay. I kind of miss it a little bit.
Have you slowed down on the doors?
I don't work doors at all. I've had my badge completely removed. I'm suspended by the SIA because I pulled that random tranny to the ground by his ponytail, and all the lefties started mass reporting me to the SIA saying this guy's unprofessional and whatever. Maybe it wasn't that professional, but yeah, they got me suspended. But it doesn't really matter because the SIA can't really govern what you do abroad because they've got jurisdiction within the UK. And like if you walk around with me as a friend and you see me get started on and you defend me, there's nothing really. It's not really. You don't need a licensing organization to say that you're allowed to do that. Like if Floyd Mayweather turns up with 6 gigantic bodyguards from the States, they're not SIA registered, but they can still walk around with you and say, "Hey, don't come over here."
So because you pulled somebody to the floor by their ponytail in the street, that's led to you having your SIA badge revoked. Now, I've seen
the guy that taught me the actual close protection course. He reported me as well to the SIA, apparently. But yeah, it's this weird Scouse guy, Scouse Mouse. He's reported me to the SIA himself and just really didn't like me because during the close protection course, me and my friends all turned up and we just decided to run the course ourselves, basically. But it's all nonsense. You get a degree at the end of it. The SIA is complete nonsense. So yeah,
this is my course now.
Yeah, you know, like the physical intervention for SIA for close protection or doors or whatever, it's like, so grab my wrist. This is one SIA approved technique. Get back. See, shoot yourself then. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, my arsehole fell out.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
I won't do that again.
So it's all nonsense. There's loads of people that do the door course, CP course that can like barely speak English. but they get passed through by all these government organizations. Like the job centre will, like I did my first badge actually through the job centre, believe it or not, to be a door supervisor. And they pay like these companies to put people through, and it's always like 100% pass rate. And if you don't pass, then they'll have someone that's going to fill out the form for you and do the test for you, answer all the questions, or whatever. And then it looks like, well, this amount of people have got badges and got work now, so the job centre can tick a box, and then that's why we've got a million different security guards that can't speak English.
The security industry is in a complete shit state. That's my background. I still run a security firm.
Yeah.
And the quality of candidate that comes through that wants to work the door or a construction site or any form of security where other people's safety is in their hands, the responsibility is with them. I look at them and my area manager speaks to me and I say, well, how on earth are they going to deal with any situation? I mean, if they don't speak English, they don't get a look in. Like my company, there is no DEI tick box.
Yeah.
It's safety first. I'm sorry if you can't speak the language. It's a no from us. End of discussion.
Yeah. Well, I talk to people, old heads from where I used to work, and they said in the 90s they get paid like £20 an hour or £25 an hour, depending on like, if you're head door or whatever. And obviously in the 90s, that's a lot of money. Whereas now, the minimum wage is £12 something, and it goes up every year in line with inflation. And so you're getting paid £14, £15 an hour just to be for putting yourself in real danger. And it's like a quid or more above minimum wage. And the reason why that is because there's a giant, massive labour pool that's driving all the wages down because they know they can easily replace you. Whereas if they couldn't easily replace you, they'd want to hold on to you by giving you more money. So then, that's the way that mass immigration's affected the security industry.
And it's insane because now all the strong, capable people that are actually built to protect, like intrinsically they've got this protective streak in them.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it out of principle. There's no way they're going to go and do like a 6, 8, 12-hour shift on a frontline role where you can get a glass in your face, a knife in your belly now.
5 in the morning.
They're not going to do it. They can go and work for, go and deliver cheeseburgers and be greeted with a smile and a thank you for
honestly,
more money.
So many times at work, I've had to restrain someone, put them on the floor and keep them there. The police turn up, put the handcuffs on, but I've actually done the work of arresting them. And then so like some 4'11" woman will turn up and some fat gay guy will turn up and be like, you're under arrest and, anything you do say is whatever. And like there'll be me and 4 of my mates who stood around who are all like reasonably big guys, security professionals. And it's like, we're actually protecting you from the criminals. But like officially you've got the yellow tennis ball high-vis uniform on, so you're the police. But in reality, we're the actual police. So
go back to the guy. You said you pulled him by the ponytail and that's kind of what led to you losing your badge. Now, I've seen that clip, you pulling him from behind to the floor, but then I've also seen the same guy in multiple videos being provocative.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about him? Did you say he was a tranny?
Yeah, he is a tranny. He's called Jasmine Rushby or whatever, and he's the guy that attacked young Bob.
Right.
He smashed his camera equipment up with all the Asian lads wearing Montclair and Canada Goose jackets or whatever, and he's from Stand Up to Racism, so he went and smashed his camera up, etc.
Right.
And attacked Bob and helped them do it. So he's very provocative type of person, has got no problem using violence himself. But I suppose from the SIA's perspective or from a law perspective, it doesn't really matter. Like if you're a serial killer, right, and I punch you in the face unprovoked, I've still punched you in the face unprovoked, so I've committed a crime, so that's all that matters really.
Was it unprovoked when you yanked
Absolutely
him?
not. But I mean, so we were...
talk me through it.
So we turned up, we'd finished walking around the city centre and we had some like stand up to racism protest and, they do it every Saturday. So we'd seen them all there and then we went down Thomas Street into Northern Quarter and they were all there chilling after the protest. And so they started doing the normal, racist, go more foul streets, etc. And so we were like, okay, fine, whatever. So they started doing this weird thing where they turn their backs to us and then like start walking backwards into us. And I'm like, well, it's not like the safest tactical decision to do that really. But they kept doing it and we were like, okay, we'll move away, we'll retreat. And we had the whole street to retreat in. So really we could have just walked off, I suppose. So, but then the content wouldn't have been there. But they keep going into us. And so at a certain point, I'm just like, listen, dude, if you keep going to my space, I'll just yank you to the floor. I did yank to the floor. And I got like 3 or 4 of them at the same time. So, I mean, was it professional? No. Was it funny? Yes. Do I regret it? No.
Did you thoroughly enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like watching it back.
That's nice.
In my own private time.
I like watching it back.
Yeah, it's
put on repeat.
Yeah. If I'm ever struggling to finish, then I just
I'm almost bored of watching myself now.
Yeah.
One more for the road.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, what about this geezer?
It's ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It's ma'am. No. She.
So when I say about how many times have you come close to dying, so there was another situation where I see you almost had your back to the wall. I could be wrong, but you correct me. But someone's managed to get behind you.
Oh, Khaled.
And put you in a chokehold.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so, and is he the little fella that you've had ongoing beef with?
Yeah, he's a little Scouse weasel. And,
talk me through this whole beef and what he done. And
so we were there the year before that at the UKIP march when UKIP were a bit more of a force to be reckoned with, and now they're on the decline now. But they had a massive rally in Liverpool, and lots of people from all different stripes of the right turned up to protest. And obviously they had a massive Antifa, weirdo counter demonstration. And so he was following us around with a megaphone all day, trying to start a fight, saying, "Oh, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me," moving close to my face all the time. So he followed us around. I watched the whole video. It's one of Charlie's best videos, one of the ones that I enjoy the most. And he followed us around all day, trying to start, abusing us. And he starts saying, "It's English clay, it's English clay," trying to reference common law that you can a pedestrian can walk out wherever he wants or whatever. And so he comes up to us, he's putting the megaphone in my face. He's going, "Don't touch me, Fred, don't touch me, Fred, don't touch me, Fred." And so at a certain point, I'm just like, right, well, you've been here for approximately 5 seconds too long now. So I just elbowed him one time and then kicked him in the ribs. And he backed off, and that was the end of it. Well, it wasn't the end of it. He carried on trying to follow us, and then he tried to do it again, and I feigned a kick, and he went, "Ugh," like that. And so it all ended up him looking like an absolute idiot.
And that is a very good impression of him, because that is exactly what he done.
Yeah, because 2 seconds before, and he was going, "That shitty Thai shit doesn't work on me." I'm like, and then I elbowed him and kicked him, and it turns out that Muay Thai shit actually totally does work on him. So
because he's MMA, isn't he?
He's had 2 MMA fights. I looked him up on the internet. I think he's lost them both, or I don't know. But no shade on the guy. Good for him having a fight or whatever. That's great. But he's seething about it because he ended up looking like a prat. And then the year after, he was looking for an opportunity to try and get me back. And so I was working with young Bob, trying to make sure that young Bob was all right, because obviously people like to attack him because he needs a target. And yeah, we got kettled in because the protest the second time around was much smaller and the lefties were much bigger. And so we were just stuck there, not doing any wheeze and poos for 3-4 hours or whatever, while we stood cordoned off by the police. So they started letting us out, and then they tried to corner us and follow us as we got out on the street. And so they started waving flags in our face. So I was moving the flags out of the way and then just doing that. And he smashed a megaphone over my hand, which hurt a tiny bit, and then ran at me and tried to choke me from behind. And he's actually pled not guilty to this, even though it's covered by, there's more auditors there than there were protesters, I think. So there's cameras from every single direction watching him do it unprovoked. I didn't attack him at all. Didn't threaten anybody at any point. Didn't throw a punch. Didn't even raise my hand like I was going to throw a punch. And he's gone and tried to choke me out from behind. And now he's gone and pled not guilty. So there's going to be a trial in November, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, this is actually going to go to court?
Yeah, it's going to go to court, yeah.
Did you not think about just offering him out one-on-one and deal with it like that?
Well, he's done that offering me out thing before, because he's offered me out saying, "Would you fight for charity for a little girl or whatever?" But the thing is that if I fight him, right, I'm not going to lose, right? But on the occasion that I did lose, that would look terrible for my reputation. But I'm twice his size, so if I win, it doesn't look very good for my reputation anyway.
Yeah.
But the police arrested him, so what can I say about that? I've got no say in whether the police arrest him or not.
That's the thing, innit? Even if you press charges now and make a complaint, or don't make a complaint, the police can say they take things into their own hands, don't they?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what he's been charged with, but I think he'd be charged with at least assault, but potentially a fray as well, because a phrase with other people are around you, and they become afraid, and civilians are walking past and they're afraid for their safety because 2 people are fighting, you can get charged with a fray. So I think that qualifies as a crime regardless of whether I report it as a crime or not. So I
wonder why these lefties have become more and more confident with using violence when they're out protesting. What makes them think, actually, it's justified to use violence against a counter-protester? Or they're normally the counter-protesters, to be fair, aren't they?
Well, they're into left-wing politics, so they're probably not very intellectual, and they're more emotionally driven than anything really. If you look into these people, they're probably all on SSRIs, they probably all have psychiatric conditions. They're in, a lot of them are trannies and the rest of it, so there's a good chance that they've got something, seriously wrong. They've probably seen some traumatic material when they were a child, overly sexual in nature, etc., and it's warped their perceptions. And a lot of these people have probably been traumatized as children, so they're really not in the thinking clearly sort of perspective. And that's why if these people ever got in power, they would they don't feel bad about putting you in a gulag or starving you to death or anything like that, because they view you as an enemy. They hate you. So they're overcome with emotion and they just feel like doing whatever they feel like doing. And I think there's also the implicit fact that they've got organisations like Unite and Unison that are sort of behind them, that are sort of secretly funding them and provide legal counsel, etc. They organise to protect themselves in terms of what they can say and what they shouldn't say, etc. And so they all try and band together and won't give evidence against each other or anything like that. Like the guy who tried to stab Ned, he got you know English Ned, don't you?
Sort of thick curly hair.
Yeah, thick curly hair, really distinctive laugh. And some black lad from Antifa tried to stab him in Manchester, but he got put on the floor and the knife fell out of his hand. But he got arrested. And they were all like, "We love you. Don't say anything to the police. Don't worry, you're a hero," etc. So that's what these people are like. And I think they know as well that the judges in the courts are probably more on, and the police are probably more on their side than they are on our side. So knowing my luck, I'll probably get like a weird female judge who'll let him off and save self-defense. So who knows?
As long as they call him ma'am.
Ma'am. No, he's definitely male. He's definitely male.
I'm talking about the judge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You've got to be careful with these.
You never know.
I think
Your Honour.
I think a lot of them, or Her Honour. I think a lot of them, depending on the size of his dick. I think a lot of them are
his majestic dick.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are
his most excellent dick.
Left leaning, his most supreme penis.
Oh, your penis are so large, and my penis are so small.
Can we keep this interview serious?
Sorry.
Please? Yeah, it's enough about penises. For
Fucking
now.
room.
Although there was a penis that I'm just trying to work out if you broke his jaw or not. He was working with somebody and he was a bracelet scammer and you smashed him in the face, and I want to know if you broke his face. Change are proudly sponsoring the channel. They're the UK's #1 e-commerce mentoring program, taking you step by step through building your own business with no experience needed. I've seen their members make life-changing money and free up real time to spend with their families. Success doesn't happen overnight. You've got to put the work in. The more you put in, the more you get out. What really stands out is their community. It's ram-packed with like-minded people who genuinely support each other. You get one-on-one training, online courses, and group seminars, so you're never left on your own. If you're serious about building something new for yourself, message Ryan on Instagram at RyanJB.
I didn't break his face. I went to go and punch him because he ran at Tyler, who was working with Tyler Oliveira.
Okay, so give me the full story.
So there's bracelet scammers all over Europe. They don't seem to work in England as much because I don't think people come here for like the sun and sea and sand. So they don't have the same level of like lucky men that turn up and try and sell you sunglasses or bracelets or anything like that. And they choose people who seem vulnerable or in a social setting in which kicking off would be kind of, it would make you look kind of stupid. You just want to like, you're trying to enjoy your meal with your wife or whatever, and you'd rather just have this guy bugger off rather than have a giant argument while you're having your romantic dinner. So they come up and they just put like a bracelet on you, say it's free, and then when you're like, oh, so it's free, then it goes, no, you have to pay me. But then at this point you've already like committed to it. So it's like pressure selling.
Yeah.
So they tried to do that with multiple people on the street. So we confronted them, saying, hey, can you just leave people alone? Can you stop bothering people, etc. And so he was like, he tried to sell Tyler a bracelet. So Tyler gave him some fake euros on camera, and he started taking his bag off and running towards him. So I clotheslined him from the side, because with this type of job, a lot of the time, like, you know, if I'm a normal security guard, I want to stay as close to you as possible. But obviously, for the purposes of making content, you can't have 4 guys stood in a box formation around you, because then no one's going to come up to you and touch you and interact with you and talk to you. So there will be no content, there'll be no video. So we hang back and try and make sure that you're as safe as possible from 20, 30 yards away. So we look unconnected, so that these people who are trying to expose in the first place feel emboldened to come and try their scam with you. So I clotheslined him, and then my friend Nick punched him in the face. Nick's like an ex-football linebacker from the States in Texas or whatever, and all around a great athlete. And then Pasha, who's the camera guy, pepper sprayed him as well.
I thought you smashed him in the face.
I did smash him in the face initially, and then he got to his credit, he got up, carried on. Then Nick punched him in the face, and then Pasha pepper sprayed him. Right. So he got like done in by 3 people essentially.
I didn't see all those other bits. I just saw you smash him in the face, and I thought, cool. That looks like a clean...
Oh, was this in... No, we talk about Florence?
Yes.
I was talking about Barcelona.
I'm talking about Florence.
Well, Florence was a very similar sort of situation, but we went and it was raining the whole time, so it wasn't... We would have seen more and more people, like that Dutch Travel Maniac. He recently got attacked in Florence by all the same guys.
Right.
And now apparently all the bracelet sellers, they're all after me. We went to Milan with Tyler, and the same people turned up again, but we all had like pepper sprays. We spent like £500 on pepper spray, so they all came up to us, and they were like, all of Africa are looking for you or whatever. I'm like, okay, so... But yeah, in Florence, the same sort of thing happened. 3-4 minutes of him saying, no, I want money. And he said, well, you said it was a present, so, go away. I said, listen, stop it. Don't, just leave it. Chill out. Don't reach for the camera. Don't do it. So after a certain second, I noticed that he looked over here, because usually if I'm going to hit you, right, I'll look to see if anyone's going to look first, or like if I'm looking directly at you, then our eye contact is is meeting each other, so you can expect and you can read what body's going to do. Whereas if I look over here, like if I say, oh, the police are over there or a helicopter's over there, we'll both look, won't we? So when I look over here, someone else often looks over there, and that's when you get sparks. So he did that. He's moving towards us. I said, listen, I'm not scared of you. And then he said, fuck you then. So I said, right, well, if it's on, then it's on. So I punched him, and that's it, and we got off.
So do you think you broke his face?
I don't know. I mean, he's probably from Senegal, so he's probably got like a bone density like stronger than adamantium. But they are just freak athletes. They're like Senegalese, Cameroonians. They are just like freak athletes. Like my friend Maxwell, who's a combat sambo champion. He's from Cameroon, and like he's like 6'5", but I mean his elbow starts like here where my shoulder is. Like you can kick him in the thigh and your shin hurts. Like you punch him in the face and you break your hand. Like he's like the Terminator. So they're built to survive for sure.
And you know all these different people you keep punching in the face?
I mean, I know of them, apparently, allegedly.
Yeah. Do you ever come back and think, okay, that was a bridge too far? Or do you ever think to yourself, I'm going to kill someone one day?
No, I don't think that at all. No, I don't think that I'm going to kill someone one day, although it could happen.
Well, you've got a good shot on you, haven't you?
Well, anyone can fall over and hit the head on a curb, and
that's what I mean.
That's what can happen. But that's the nature of this job. So it's the good thing, like versus being on the door, is like if you've got a camera on the door, it's got CCTV, but it hasn't got sound. It hasn't got the hour previous to that of build up of everything that was said, how it was, people were following you down the road, etc. So you can, as long as you actually justify it, you can give yourself some level of immunity from criminal charges as long as you're acting within the law. Whereas, let's say if you're acting within the law, but there was nothing to prove that you were, then you could find yourself falling foul.
So there's nothing that you've done that you think, I shouldn't have done that. And as far as you're concerned, moving forward, if people keep getting in your space, you're gonna keep banging them.
It's not a choice; it's just a reflex. Like I've been attacked that many times growing up as a young kid that like now when you just move into this space here and you've got bad intentions, it's like an automatic reaction for me to just bop you one.
Do you think I'm not getting stabbed in the anus again?
That's much more recent. So that was only a few years ago. But yeah, like I've been beaten up so many times that I'm just like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to let it happen. And that the risk of me doing that and encountering illegal consequences or hurting someone badly, as far as I'm concerned, they pale in comparison to the consequences of actually being hurt myself. So,
have you got a relationship with the police? Because when they see, I mean, like you're internet famous now, so when you're out on the street, the entire police force that are out, you would think would recognise you.
A lot of them know who I am, but then a lot don't as well, for the same reasons that, like, well, a lot of police officers now are like women and stuff, so they don't consume the same content as Charlie Veach or whatever. Like the demographic, YouTube generally is a very male-dominated space. Like most people who enjoy watching long-form technical content about interesting subjects, they're usually men, and a lot of women and a lot of guys that are in the police force now, they're a bit like effeminate and stuff. So not everybody knows who I am, but I've definitely been fist bumped by a few coppers. Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. So they do. A lot of them do know me, but a lot don't.
I'd imagine some of them are more than they'd like to let on, are grateful for men like you because you are doing their job sometimes.
Well, I'm sure they'd like to do what I do, but they don't have license to do it without losing their job. And I think a lot of them wouldn't want to outwardly, especially at a protest or anything, or confess to knowing me because it makes them look like they're being biased in my favour. If they're shaking my hand beforehand and then it all kicks off and I come up smelling like roses, people are going to be like, well, the police are on your side then or whatever. So I think they can't afford to be associated with me either.
You're becoming an outcast.
I don't know about that, but but I suppose if you want to progress up the chain in the police force, to be like openly fraternising with people like me or Charlie or Tyler,
culture thugs,
exactly like myself. It's probably not the best if you're trying to get a promotion, really.
And just for the record, that is the name of your YouTube. That's what you go by on YouTube.
Yeah.
Culture
thug, exactly.
I saw that when I was looking before you come onto down. I thought that's fucking hilarious.
Well, that's the whole idea, isn't it? That's what I want to encourage people to do, is to become like educated and cultured and interested in their own history and their culture and the history and culture of all the different nations around the world, and also to be to harness their aggression and to be assertive and to be masculine, etc. So just because you're nerdy doesn't mean you can't be strong. Just because you're strong and you like athletics or you like football or you like going down the pub doesn't mean you can't also have an intellectual chat.
Yeah, we do need to lean more into our masculinity because it's been stolen from us, really. Yeah. Who's the guy that you've been working with regularly and you've been going in for the scammers, but for quite a while? Tyler Oliveira, that's it. That's his name.
He's massive.
So all of them scammers that you've been hunting, should we say, what's the best scam that you've seen? And since you've been working with him, because you've been doing it for quite a while, haven't you, what's like the most dangerous confrontations? That's two questions in one. The best scam that you've seen that made you think, "Cool, I didn't see that coming." And these are street scammers that people should be aware of.
Well, these people aren't very smart, honestly. It's just typical shoplifting, stealing, cup and ball scams, bracelet selling, etc. If they could do something that was a bit smarter, they would be into high finance crime or something like that, but they're not. And they, I think, especially from the Roma Gypsy community, this is like their particular little game that they've got where they scam people, and it's a weird like psychological trick that they play on you because even though you know it's a scam, if you're addicted to gambling and you're from another country like America or whatever where they don't play this game, you come over here and you think, oh, it's like a nice little European quirky custom of people playing isn't that crazy? It's like Aladdin or something, And then everybody seems to be in on it, where everyone's like clapping, even though they're all actors, they're all from the same group, and they're all like, "Yeah, you won," and or like they all make it look like the crowd's in on it, and the herd mentality sort of convinces you on like an emotional level that it's like a real game, even though like on your in the surface of your mind, you're going, "Oh, this is no way that I could win. He's definitely scamming. They don't look very trustworthy, etc." But if you happen to be of the persuasion that you're addicted to that sort of thing, and then you've got the crowd psychology along with it, it kind of forces you into just giving away your money, essentially.
And any dangerous confrontations off the back of that?
Well,
because they must operate in their gangs.
Yeah.
So if you're sort of sticking it on one, they've probably a phone call away, they could get a group together.
Yeah. Well, for instance, we were in Milan, and one guy brought out a bear mace and started chasing it. But the thing is, lots of them, they're not athletes.
What's a bear mace?
As in so you got pepper spray.
Right.
It's all just chilies, essentially condensed chilies. And so you can have massive canisters. So, like you'll see in the riots of the George Floyd riots, a lot of the cops have like these massive, huge canisters of pepper spray versus the tiny little one a woman might carry. So they brought out one of these and chased us around with the bear mace. One got out a knife with like if it's in the credit card folding knives. Mm-hmm. So he got one of those out as things like threatening us with them. But these people, they sit around smoking cigarettes all day. So they're not the best athletes. And in a park or an open area, you can just sort of run away and then linger there, and they can't, like, by the time they got to you, they're out of breath. So you can just sort of like taunt them and squirt them with water pistols and the rest of it. So
sounds a bit like human bullfighting.
Yeah, but like a lot more slow paced, and they don't nearly get you. You just like stay away from them the best that you can. And the thing is,
you should take a red rag out of you one day just for the crack.
Yeah, well, in France and in Italy and Spain, they have really not lax, like great laws around self-defense in terms of you can buy pepper spray. In Germany, you have to say that it's for defense against wild animals. Otherwise, it's illegal. Right, so even though you can buy it in shops, you can walk around Germany, and if you get pulled and you say, "I brought this with me for the purposes of self-defense," that's illegal. But you can say it's for use against wild animals, like I suppose an XL bully or whatever, and then that's technically legal. And then you happen to threaten me, and I happen to pepper spray you, but it wasn't for that purpose, so technically it's not illegal. Whereas in France and Italy and Spain, you could just go, "Where's the armory, mate?" And you go in the armory, and it's just like like in Pulp Fiction, where he goes upstairs from being raped by Ving Rhames or whatever, and they've got like the chainsaw that's going da na 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 da na 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 na. So you look at like the different sizes of So you look at the samurai sword and stuff, and you're just like, "Oh, this is great." So yeah, we went into the shop and just bought like 500 quid's worth of pepper spray. So
it's a very powerful.
Yeah, we had like shockwave pepper spray pistols and all kinds of stuff. They've got range on them. It's great.
So what's the stuff you keep spraying in people's faces that leaves them covered in red stuff?
I don't do that. That's legal in the UK, and that's just farb gel, and that's criminal identifier spray. So like, let's say if you assaulted me or took something from me, I could paint you red, and then the police might see that you're the guy that's painted red, and so it would link you to the crime. That's the idea, basically. But and it's just a shaming tactic, really. So when we spray paint, or not me, but when Diego or Tyler spray paints pickpockets or scammers, it's people from the outside can see that like you've got red paint on you. Must be some sort of reason for it. and so then you've at least lost a day's work then, 'cause you got to go home and it takes a while to wash it off, etc. So
I'm glad. See, this is how nasty rumours start. I got my research wrong. I thought it was you doing that, but I'm glad you've cleared that up.
No. I don't like having them in my. I've used pepper spray plenty of times. Plenty of time. I love pepper spray, but I like having my hands free because I've got to be able to like grapple and punch and kick and push people away, etc. So they've got their own thing for their own personal self-defense, and I've got one on me just in case it gets really bad.
Have you ever pepper sprayed yourself accidentally?
I've pepper sprayed someone and then ran after them into the cloud of pepper spray, and it's an instant nose unblocker. I'll tell you that. and I've
it's good for hay fever.
Yeah. So in Paris, I was wrestling with one guy because we'd emptied like 1 million cans of pepper spray all over them anyway. So we were grappling with them, and his shirt was like soaked in it. And it was like, so then it got in my eye, and then like your instinct is to rub your eye, never rub your eye. And so that really hurts. I've been pepper sprayed, and then Tyler ran off to try and get some milk. By that point, I was just like going to the restaurant and just been like pouring water down my face. But yeah, so I've been pepper sprayed.
So you've had a jolly good time by the sounds of things since you last sat there. But what about the police arrests? Have they come and tugged you for anything?
I've been arrested once. Not in my life. I've been arrested before that. But
since I last see you?
Yeah, since the last seen you once. I've been arrested. I've never been convicted of a crime somehow, but I've never.
There's time.
Well, here's the thing. I've got to appear in court. I'm going to plead not guilty.
So what was this for?
So at the UTK rally where I saw you, that's the last time I saw you actually. On the same day I saw you, the same day I got arrested. And everybody, it was funny because everyone and Tommy was like, everybody on your best behaviour, no one get arrested, no fucking fighting, that's,
no face mask, no fighting, no drinking,
exactly.
Don't give them what they want.
Well, exactly.
And you went and.
Sorry,
you went and done it.
No, I was working with this YouTuber called Angela. She's an American girl. She came over to cover the UTK protest, and so we were walking around and just showing around. Nothing was really happening. So we thought, well, because they in London they keep all the lefty protests well and truly away from where the massive right wing protests are happening. So in order to go to the counter protests, if we're at Whitehall, they'll be on Trafalgar. If we're on Trafalgar, they'll be on streets away, and then it'll be cordoned off so you can't even get there. So we thought, well, let's go and find them because they had the Nakba demonstration on the same day, which is the catastrophe where it first sort of booted off properly between the Israelis and Palestinians. And so it was a great, a lot of people died, and so it's a tragedy, it's a catastrophe. And so all these lefties were there, and so we saw all their buses. And so she was just asking people questions along the lines of, what do you think about, did you know that the split on the right is between whether you support Israel or not, etc. And a lot of lefties have never even fathomed that the idea that there are some people on the right who don't like Israel. They just think that, so we were asking them questions like that. And then we saw their buses. So we thought, well, these people are all bussed in and it's all organised. Like all of our people, we don't really make signs. They make weird, stupid signs saying cringe things like, everyone deserves free tampons or whatever. Or, it's all about drawing attention to yourself. But we don't. We do everything ourselves, really. If you want to go to the UTK rally, Tommy's not going to pay for you to come down there. There's going to be no paid coaches organising hundreds and hundreds of people to come from all over the country to make it look like we've got bigger numbers than we actually have. Whereas their tactic is to get everybody from all over the world, all over the country, and take them to Epping, and then it looks like there's the community of Epping are standing up against racism, but actually it's the entire country is worth a stand up for racism in that tiny little minority, the little locality there. So we saw their buses. We thought, let's go and ask how much they're getting paid, what are their spends, who's organising it, how do they afford the coaches, etc. And so she goes on there, starts asking the questions. They start pushing her, and so she's like 5'3" or something like that. So they start pushing. I got in the way and said, listen, there's no need to start pushing women. She's only asking you questions. You don't have to we'll get off the bus at a certain point. We're only filming people. And so one guy comes up, puts his hand in my face. And like I told you before, my instinctive reaction, if you put your hands in my face, I'm just going to punch you. It's not like I'm angry that you've done that. It's just like if I touch a hot stove, I'll go, ah. So if you put your hands in my face, I'm going to punch you in the face. So he did that. And so I punched him. And then he ran to the cops saying that I'd assaulted him or whatever. So then I spent 12 hours in Hounslow police station. And
you've been charged and it's going to court?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've not been charged. I'm on bail. So I've got to appear. I've not got to appear in court yet because it's under investigation.
Right.
So in August, I've got down to Walworth police station, and that's part of my bail conditions.
You'd like to think that'll get NFA'd, especially if there's people that saw him put his hand in your face first.
Well, the camera footage doesn't show exactly because she was filming herself, so you can hear the crack as I whacked him in the face, but you can't see him put his hands in my face, and you also can't see me hit him. So there's no real evidence one way or another. So I don't think, for the sake of that, unless there's someone politically motivated in the CPS who wants to try and put it on me, which could happen. I think it'll probably get NFA'd.
If we could put face punching, an elbow to the face, and a kick to the rib in order of like what your favourite things are, how would you rank them?
Well, I subscribe to the school of thought that Miyamoto Musashi in the Book of Five Rings says, in that you shouldn't put any of your faith in any particular one thing, and you should do what's appropriate at any one moment. He's got this chapter about schools in the Edo period in Japan that favoured the long sword, the nodachi, because it's like longer, so they can get their opponent before the other person gets them, etc. But they end up relying on the one thing. So if you're busy thinking like, oh, my favourite thing to do is this, I just think like, where is the target? Roughly how far away is it? What is within reach that I can hit you with it? And that's what I'll do. So if you're stood at leg's length away from me, I'll kick you. If you're stood here, I'll grapple you. If we're on the floor, you just do whatever's appropriate at that particular moment in time. So
some could take that as you just like all forms of violence.
Well, who doesn't like watching fights? Everyone likes it's like part of everyone likes sex and drugs and rock and roll and violence, whatever. These are all the things that like stimulating for people. But it's not I like, for me, MMA is more like five-side football, in that like I do it with all my friends and someone throws a punch at me and I go, ooh. It's like five-a-side football except the head's the ball, right? But it doesn't really. There's no like animosity behind it for me. There's no like. I don't feel angry. I don't feel for aggression. I just do the sport because I like to do the sport. That's it.
It's funny to think you've become like a real life action hero, because when you're out there and you're being filmed all the time and you've been caught countless times fighting people, you're not actually acting like a Bruce Willis or a fucking Steven Seagal or a Van Damme. You're actually doing it.
Hey, I am like Van Damme, because Van Damme's got a much...
No, you are. I apologise.
Van Damme's way different to all the rest of it. Steven Seagal, he's very serious and ends up looking ridiculous, whereas Van Damme is like, in Kickboxer, he's like, hey, dancing. That's what I mean, exactly. So he's got a light-hearted attitude about him. I like Van Damme's movies, but yeah.
And just before we move on to we get back to the juicy stuff, I just can't stop thinking about that. Well, the entire film of Pulp Fiction. Because I've always had this bit of a dilemma. I mean, it is a first world problem, but I can't choose between Pulp Fiction and True Romance. And last time you was here, we had the Guns N' Roses versus Iron Maiden question that really fucking... I apologise for even putting you in that position. But I'm going to do it again. Pulp Fiction or True Romance?
They both got really good stories. True Romance was written by Quentin Tarantino, but it was directed by someone else. True Romance got James Gandolfini in it. So... I kind of like it. It's produced a lot better, whereas Pulp Fiction was one of Tarantino's earlier stuff. So it's a bit cliche now. But when you first watched it, it was mind blowing. Whereas like now, it's not as edgy as when you first watched. It's not as cool as when you first watched it. If you go back and have a look at it, the dialogue's better in Pulp Fiction. So I'd probably say Pulp Fiction overall for greater cultural impact. But the action scenes in True Romance are better than Pulp Fiction. Definitely. When he's like stomping out the what's he called? Not Robert Carlyle. The American version of Robert Carlyle. What is he? The guy who's played the drug dealer with the dreadlocks.
Oh, Drexel.
That's the one. Where he's stomping
Gary
him out.
Oldman.
Instead of, and when James Gandolfini is like beating the shit out of
Patricia Arquette.
That's what I mean. Like, and she has to like smash him with the lid of the toilet or whatever. It's like
she smashed the corkscrew in his foot.
Yeah, exactly. That's like he's that's a really evil character. So
you always give a fucking good answer when we talk about music or films.
Yeah,
the best.
Culture, pop culture,
thug,
pop culture thug,
a pop culture thug.
Yeah.
What's the most controversial or violent thing that hasn't made it to YouTube that no one knows about, or is there not anything?
There's loads of stuff that's on Instagram that YouTube won't let you show. So if you go on Tyler Oliveira's Instagram page, you can watch me beat up a Chilean pickpocket woman.
Woman?
Yeah. She stabbed me in the head. She stabbed me in the head with so she's got like, she had clippers, right, that she, for removing tags or whatever, and she got them out and like tried to stab me in the head with them, and I have like a little scratch there, but like at the time I was like, I was sort of like bent over a car, and she was like trying to stab me in the head there, so I ended up whacking her a few times. But she previously kicked a guy in the head on the floor, and no one cared, and so I slapped her one time for that, and then she did it again, and I slapped her again, and then later on, after throwing like bags of rubbish at us and just generally being a terrible person, she starts getting like a bag full of bottles and throws the bottles at me and my mate Sonny, and so at that point it was like, right, it's on then. So we're fighting her. They're like a pickpocket romantic couple. It's been taken off YouTube because they forced Tyler to take it down. But I've got a breakdown of it that's been demonetized on YouTube. So go and watch it, but just give money to YouTube, I suppose. yeah, so they start throwing a bag full of bottles at us, whatever. So we started fighting with them. They're like a couple that are both renowned. So all the managers and the security guards and the rest of it from central London, they're all texting Diego. You want to get him on? Have you had Diego on?
No.
Pickpocket hunter from London.
No.
Oh, put in touch. Anyway, they're all texting him saying, "Oh, they're at this place. They're at this place." So we know where all the pickpockets are because all the staff of all these different places where people come to steal are telling us where they are. So we found them in Soho near Sloane Street. And we got into it with them. And then Tyler got off chasing her. And then this guy came out of nowhere and completely unrelated to us and restrained this one pickpocket. And so at that point, they were on the floor and she kicked him in the head. So like I say, I slapped her. Anyway, they got off down there and it was me and Diego and the camera guy. We didn't know where Tyler went. So we were like, right, oh God, I've lost the one guy I'm supposed to be protecting. I don't know where he is. So me and Diego, we got on the back of a line bike. He's riding the line bike, and I'm like on the back of it like his bird. And then we ride down to have this like fight outside the Bugatti dealership. And I'm just like, what's going on here? But yeah, so she stabbed me in the head there. Yeah, I suppose that's not on YouTube technically, but you can go and watch it on Instagram because Instagram don't give a fuck.
I wonder if there's anybody on the left that's going to hold that against you. I mean, because we all like the unwritten rule is you don't hit a woman. But if a woman is stabbing you in the head, the goalposts have got to shift slightly.
If a baby falls off a building and hits you in the head, you can get knocked out. So if a woman can jump up and down, means she can shift 50, 60 kilograms, and she was a big girl. Means so if I hit you 50, 60 kilograms, you die. So it's unlikely that she could hurt you, but she could hurt you. So if someone's stabbing you in the head or trying to claw your eyes out or whatever, do what's appropriate, I think, And are they going to hold it against me? Probably. But they hold everything against me because that's who they are. So
as we've been speaking, like there's been a case being built up slowly but surely that you could be a contender to be murdered one day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think the choking out, the assaults, the spraying, the stabbing in the head, there's been a few things that you could say.
I'm surprised it's not worse, honestly. Like, I think it's just my personable and lovable character that's winning people over.
You're very sweet.
Yeah, so I don't know the...
and you know your film, sir.
Yeah. So I don't go out of my way to say too politically provocative stuff. I mean, on my Instagram, I repost restore content and right-wing content, that type of stuff. But I'm not like going out there and saying really, really controversial things as openly as possible. Like, I'm not like Ryan Ferguson, who's like out there throwing Romans everywhere. So, I'm not like drawing attention to myself in that particular way. And I think people don't really know what to do with me because while I could be working for someone like Charlie, who's got wild, outspoken opinions, I'm working doing a job. So you have to sort of respect that I'm kind of doing a job and I'm not the one saying these things.
And so the escalation of left-wing violence doesn't bother you?
Of course it bothers me and I could be the victim of it. But projecting an image of strength and confidence is what makes them less likely to be able to try it in the first place. So if I was saying that I'm scared for my life all the time, then it's no way to go about living, is it?
Living in fear is no way to live.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
If Tommy can walk around with no security and he got in trouble at St Pancras, didn't he, for punching that guy, or nearly got in trouble for it. So it could happen. There are unhinged people everywhere, but that's just the case living. It's part and parcel of living in a big city, as 𝐶𝐸 would say, So.
Yeah, you're coining a phrase there.
Yeah.
Part and parcel.
Exactly.
And so, what's his name? Dutch Travel Maniac?
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
He seems like an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's great.
And you've been working with him?
Yeah, I'm going out with him on Thursday.
So what's he like to work with?
Really good guy, yeah. Really like him. Really friendly person.
Any exciting situations that you've encountered? There must be.
You know what? Actually, no. Because every time that I go out with him, it's always just like a really, really fun time. We have a great time. The videos end up doing really well in the same way that like people will watch a Spanian video or a video of any other travel vlogger. It's just us talking on camera and people seem to really like it. But every time I've gone out with him, nothing has happened.
Do you think that's because there's two strong-looking men together at once?
Well, I think he's an ex-hooligan and he can definitely fight and he looks like an intimidating prospect. And there's me as well. But I think also some of it's just like luck of the draw. And I think every time that we've gone out, in Milan, people we didn't know where to look. So a lot of the stuff that happens in Milan happens on the underground, on the metro rather. Whereas in Milan generally, it's like a really nice place and there's just not a lot of crime going on.
And what's his thing? What's his objective? What is he setting out to achieve? Is he just vlogging or is he trying to
He's got a political bent because
Save the world.
he's trying to draw attention to what's happening to Western Europe, which is obviously it's a great shame that's happened to Europe, and the fact that there's that much antisocial behaviour, there's that much crime, there's that many people that are on drugs, passed out on the street, that many criminals that we've let in from all over the world. And he's just drawing attention to that, really.
And just going back to pickpockets, because I know that London's full of them, and some people won't know that. Some people think they can just walk up, still wear their Rolex and keep a load of cash in their back pocket and end up coming a cropper one day. Now, you've stopped some pickpockets, didn't you?
Yeah, a few.
In London?
Yeah. So that's what I was telling you about.
Yeah, so how prominent is it?
What's weird is, like, London's got a different immigration problem than the rest of the world. Like, there's tons of, like, South Americans over there that are, like, you know, like you wouldn't expect to see them people in England. Like, you'd understand, like, people who were previously attached to the colonies of the British Empire, and now there's sort of a link there between, you know, the Indian subcontinent or Africa or different African colonies, etc. Whereas, like, you don't expect to see, like, people from Chile and Brazil or whatever in London, but there's just tons of them. So a lot of the pickpockets are from South America, but obviously there's a lot of Roma Gypsy pickpockets as well.
How do they operate? Is it on the tube? Do they creep up slowly, or do they do it as you're walking and, like, grab whatever they can? Or I'm assuming if you're wearing a rucksack, you're easy picking. Unzip, take out what you want.
Yeah. So they look for the right type of target first,
for?
Obviously. So they'll look for people that are often, like, let's say if you're Japanese or Chinese, or these people come from places where it's like an unheard of thing that's not going to happen, you know? And they look for people that, like let's say if you found, like, a Japanese tourist, the odds of that he's going to be able to, like, confront you with words or physicality or have local friends in the area that can help him is just, like, slim to none. He doesn't know the area. He doesn't know how to, you know, get anyone to come and help him, really. So he's in a vulnerable position, and you know that he's got money because he's come from somewhere as far afield as China or Japan or something like that. So they target those people quite a lot. If you're sat at a restaurant and you're having your dinner, some guy might come up to you begging or put, like, you know, show you some, like, a piece of paper in front of your meal, being like, oh, I'm so horrible in my country, it's so bad, and I need money and blah blah blah. At the same time, your phone's underneath there. So when they've removed the thing, they've taken your phone at the same time, and you're distracted by looking at or talking to them, right? So you're not seeing what's happened. They'll often work with 2 or 3 of them at the same time. So you'll see a lot of women, like, in the blazing heat, walking around with, like, a big jacket over their arm, so that in a subway or a metro or a tube, you can go up to someone and you're bumping into them. Like, it's a perfectly reasonable excuse to bump into someone because you're packed into a tightly concealed area, and then with a jacket, etc., they can conceal what they're doing. So they might even put a jacket there, and then their friend will come and do it. And then, or once they've taken it, they'll pass it off to their friend. So that even if you confront them afterwards, they won't have the thing on them. But I didn't realise how many there were in London. I knew there were a lot in Europe. I didn't realise how many there were in London. They don't have that many in Manchester. Like, it's pretty much unheard of in Manchester or Birmingham, because I think you get battered for that sort of thing. Whereas I think in London, tourism is that high that you can more easily choose targets.
Yeah, a lot of easier targets in London than there are up north.
People come to Manchester just for football, really. You know, if you're coming from abroad, it's because you're coming to watch United play or City play or whatever. Whereas in London, you know, you've got Big Ben, you know, London Eye and Tower of London and all the rest of it. So
that's good for people watching and listening to bear in mind. Like, pickpocket and scammers and scamming is absolutely rife in London. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
a lot of people live in ignorant bliss because they're in such a rush to get to work, back from work, put their kids to bed, repeat, that they don't get to see the stuff that you do being boots on the deck.
Yeah, well, I think the people that are actually living in London, they may fall victim to actually someone snatching their phone off them or you know, mugging them directly. Whereas people that are in an alien place, that are absorbed with the sights, like, oh, it's a new place with tourist attractions and all these, like, entertaining things that are happening that are a complete novelty to you, that you're not really watching for your personal possessions. Whereas people that live in London, they're a bit more savvy because they know how dangerous it can be in London.
What's the Ultimate Self-Defense Championships?
The Ultimate Self-Defense Championships are, well, it started off in Australia with this guy called Rokus and this other guy called, I think he's called Jeff Phillips, or I can't remember what he's called, but they were working together, and they don't work with each other anymore, but he came up with the branding and the idea for it. So it's putting you in different scenarios, like you're holding a baby doll, like someone starts on you while you're holding a baby, like you're out with your kids, you've got a pram with you, you're in a lift, you're in a bar. So they've had this. We're on season 4 now. I'm in season 4. But there's 3 seasons before that, and so you wear, like, they're sort of like a cross between like hockey masks and boxing headgear rather, with like clear plastic visors. And it's from a sport called Kudo, which is like a Japanese martial art. And you basically get graded by judges who are like experts on the subject in self-defense or worked in various industries, police or whatever. And they grade you from 1 to 10 based on how you performed in this situation, whether or not you would have died, etc. So, like one of the scenarios is called a blade cage, where they'll put like a rash guard on you, which is like a spandex. If you don't do jiu-jitsu, a rash guard is just like a spandex piece of clothing you wear so that you don't get like rashes, I suppose, like skin irritation. And we have the organs on them, and they'll have like knives painted with different coloured paint on them, so you can see in which round you got cut where. So you can see like how badly you would have you died, or whether you would have survived or not, and how badly you would have been injured. So they can grade you as to how you would do in a similar sort of situation.
And you're in season 4.
Yeah, I'm in season 4. So like one of them
has that been aired yet?
No, it's coming out in October.
Okay, so you've competed in it.
Yeah, competed,
but it's not been aired yet.
No, but like so some of it we had like an airsoft battle, but instead of just having like a shootout, they set up like a fake bar with a fake pool table and fake drinks, fake bottles, and you've got civilians running around screaming as if it's like a real situation happening, rather than like what would you do in the best case scenario, because you're like not going to hit any civilians. So it's trying to recreate as best as they can real life while making it as safe as possible. So like one of the challenges, I had to have my jeans like around my ankles, and I was sat in a toilet cubicle, and someone just comes and starts on you while you're having a shit. So like not having a real shit. There's literally a foam toilet that you're sat like made from like kids play center material.
So you had to pretend to have a shit.
No, but like they'd start you off inside the cubicle, and then someone's trying to kick the door down while you're in there.
So is it role play or is it real?
It's real, because they're really trying to attack you.
So you go in full steam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you're all wearing protective gear. So and obviously instead of smashing someone's head off a sink, the sink's made out of play center material. So you can say, oh, that would have happened in real life, but no one had to get hurt. Yeah, the Ultimate Self-Defense Championships are really interesting though, because in martial arts, everyone likes to go, oh, well, if you do this, then I'll do this. And I'll go, ha, and do that. And like, you know what? Yeah, your wrist doesn't turn this way. So if I bend it that way, it will hurt. But let's say if I try and stab you and you put your hand here, but I've moved my hand now. And so what people don't understand about fighting with knives and weapons and is like the fight goes on after you've been stabbed, after you've been shot. So even you'd have to carry on anyway. So like people train for the best case scenario, but they're trained for the worst case scenario.
And so these seasons, are they on YouTube?
All on YouTube. They did a women's one as well. So like they had in the women's one, they put like like sweatbands that tennis players wear.
Yes.
They put them on their ankles. And so like they've got a guy trying to physically overpower you, spread your legs, and take off these sweatbands, which are supposed to, in place of your knickers essentially, and try. So it's like, how would you actually cope in a real sexual assault type situation? So they try and recreate all the different situations in which you might find yourself. Someone might put a gun to your head. What was you going to do? So they had like they had a fake doctor's surgery where they had this guy. It's based on a real scenario. They told us afterwards in Ostrava in Czech Republic, where this guy had his 6-year-old daughter in the doctor's surgery, and he's banging on the door, being like, he starts an argument with the guy next to him, and he ends up pulling a gun out, and he shoots 6 people in the doctor's surgery, including another 6-year-old girl. And so they put you in this scenario, and you've got like, how would you do it? I ran for the gun, I missed the gun like this, and then I ended up getting shot, and I would have died. It's an airsoft gun, but everybody else managed to get out. So it's like, you're not always graded as to how well you did, but how well you managed to survive, or whether you let other people who you're protecting, get out safe and sound. So it's really interesting, really.
I look forward to watching that.
Yeah, you should watch it.
I'd imagine with you in it, that's going to get big views.
Yeah, so they get people from all different martial arts disciplines, and then so there was 5 of us total, and then one guy is a completely untrained guy. There's like a test control subject. So how would the average person do in these scenarios versus? So this year we had a strong man, a guy that does historical European martial arts, so with like long swords and stuff. We had a Sambo champion. We had me, a security professional. And so in the other seasons as well, you've had like guys from karate or sumo or whatever. And so it's all about seeing how people from different backgrounds and which ones would be more applicable in the real world.
God, do you remember what the UFC used to be like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
When the weight classes were completely out of proportion.
No weight classes.
And anything went.
Yeah, well, they still do that. Called King of the Streets. Have you watched King of the Streets?
Nah.
The eye gouges legal, biting legal, but you realise as well, like how much of a difference they actually make. People think like, oh yeah, I'll poke you in the eye and that'll stop the attacker, but it actually will. Like, so when that Khaled, he choked you from behind, I got my thumb and I just jammed it in his eye and he had to let go immediately. But in MMA, that's a sport, and like obviously MMA is the best base for learning how to defend yourself because it's against resisting opponents over and over and over and over again. So you're inoculating yourself to the stress of combat, which lets you make decisions. But when you're fighting with someone with a knife, like let's say if me and you are wrestling, I'm trying to control your arms and your head and your shoulders and off balance you, etc. Whereas if you've got a knife, you're trying to grapple me with this arm, but the rest of it doesn't really matter because let's say I slam you on the ground and smash you on the ground and then lie on top of you, right? And I'm winning, but all you have to do is that, and now you've won. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's way different to what you think it is. Like, and a lot of the habits that would save you in an MMA fight might get you killed in a real knife fight.
You've actually become the ultimate bodyguard, haven't you?
No, not the ultimate bodyguard, not yet.
Oh, but you're up there.
No, I'm on my journey.
You have lived and breathed being a bodyguard, mind.
Yeah. Well, it's different though because like
what's the biggest myth people think about being a bodyguard as well? Because I'd imagine people think it's very easy. You look cool, sunglasses on, but what's the reality of it?
That is the reality of it, honestly, because lots of the time, people that are hiring you have got more money than sense, and they're spending a fortune on 20, 30 guards for you to stand around in a hotel lobby with a suit on and an earpiece doing nothing. So
that is the myth.
I'm not saying that nothing happens, but because if you've got money to hire a private security detail, you've probably got a limousine and a private jet, and you're going from here to there, and you get whisked from here, whisked from there, and occasionally you might have to push someone back, etc. Whereas being a bouncer is much more dangerous, you know. Whereas my job that I'm doing is sort of a fusion between both of them, really, because we're like, if I'm trying to protect you and I know there's threats against your life, I'm going to keep you away from those threats as best as possible. So it's just me and you chilling, and there's no problems. Like, so then you're secure, then, aren't you? Whereas obviously to go to these places and visit the scammers and criminals, etc., I'm taking you to where it's dangerous. So I have to sort of be a doorman, but also be a bodyguard at the same time, because I might have to get into real physical conflict. Whereas most of the time, I mean, if you're in a suit, right, you can't really be fighting properly. You know what I mean? You can't, like, you're not in comfortable clothes. You're not in shorts and a t-shirt, are you?
I'm sure you'd give it a jolly good go.
Of course I would, and I would like to if I could get if whoever makes the John Wick suits that, like, with the stretchy material and stuff, I would buy those. But yeah, it's a lot of people in security are just bullshitters, just generally, aren't they? Really, like I remember the first guy that taught me the SIA door supervisor course. He goes, right now, he pulls out this piece of parchment. It's got loads of Chinese writing on it. He goes, you see that? That's my Wing Chun license. Now, if you mess around on the doors, someone will turn up and you won't be able to do Wing Chun again. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, people just make up all kinds of nonsense. Like, I was being taught first aid in the second when I cause I let it expire, and then I did the course because they required you to do like an expansion first aid bit. They always it's a total scam. Every couple of years they introduce like a new thing to get you to do the course again, essentially, right? And the guy who was teaching us in there was saying that if you've been stabbed and you've got a tourniquet on, you know what a tourniquet is, don't you? So for the people that don't know what a tourniquet is, it's like a piece of Velcro with a twisty thing on it. So you tie it as high as you can above where. So if I've been stabbed here or here, I'd put the tourniquet here, tighten it as much as possible, and then twist it and twist it and twist it and twist it and twist it. So no blood's coming to my arm now, so I can't bleed out. So it gives you time to get to the ambulance. And you once that's on, you're never letting it off, right? And not until a medical professional has come there and can like actually deal with you. Whereas he was saying every 5 minutes you've got to loosen it slightly, just because your blood toxicity can cause you to die, etc. So that's like how you die from arterial bleeding. So people are just, and like the amount of people that I've met in security that are like, oh yeah, I'm a kickboxing champion. Yeah, I used to be in the SBS. I used to be in the SAS. Whatever. Like, everybody's got all these like mad different stories, but because no one's actually forced to actually fight someone, you can't really know if they're really. And I'm sure some of them actually probably have been in the special forces or whatever, but you just don't know who's who in the security because everybody's a bullshit.
Everything you've seen in the last 9, 10, 12 months, depending on when it was we last sat opposite each other. Is London a safer place or a more dangerous place?
Well, I was born in London, and I left when I was about 11 to move to Suffolk for like a year and a half. Then we moved to Manchester after that when I was about 13. So I'd say I couldn't really tell you because I was a kid back then. but it appears to be more dangerous. Like, but at the same time, where I'm hanging out, or where I'm doing work, it's all in touristy type areas. So I'm not getting like a real good feel for what the place is like, you know. And when I do go there, I see my cousin. She lives in Muswell Hill. It's lovely in Muswell Hill. So,
well, you know, you've got people on the left. I mean, you've got Sadiq Khan, for example, who's just constantly gaslights the nation. But you've still got people that think it's an extremely safe place to live, and they'll vouch for that. I mean, are they just sleepwalking straight into danger?
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. I mean, like, we just don't know who's coming into this country, full stop. So the thing is, they're putting people all over the country in very, like, random little villages and stuff. So you just have no real way of knowing where these people are and what they're capable of. But London is not a safe place to go to. I've been started on Primrose Hill. I was walking there once, and some like young little lad on a phone, he was like, you know, acting like a bad man or whatever. So I sort of like half laughed at him. And then he goes, "What, you want me to get you banged, mate?" And I was like, "What? You're like 14 years old." And then so we will carry on walking, going to this pub. All of a sudden, 20 guys show up, Range Rover, all the rest of it. I was like, "Taxi!"
What, off the back of this young lad?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It must have been
connected.
That's what I'm saying. The thing about London is that because it's so old and it's so like it's so heavily intermixed. And then obviously after the war, they put council flats in loads of random different places. So like even in like West London or places that are like quite affluent, you can turn the corner and be in a total ghetto. Like you could be in St John's Wood looking at like amazing houses, turn the corner, you're on a council estate. So it's not like in Manchester where you've got like
you know where you're at.
Good area followed by a bad area, followed by a good area, followed by a bad area. You know, you turn the wrong corner, meet the wrong person, and with the tube network being so interconnected, anyone can get anywhere. So,
has there ever been a moment where you've thought to yourself, "Okay, I'm now done with this lifestyle," or do you just absolutely love it?
What else am I going to do? Go and work in Tesco? Do you know what I mean? I can't. Whenever I go anywhere now, people are walking up to me saying, "Oh yeah, I like what you do. I like your content, the rest of it." So I can't go backwards and get another job now, really, can I suppose?
Do you think this lifestyle's made you unemployable?
Yeah, of course it has. Yeah, I mean, I've basically it's been forced into. I've got to become a content creator now. So I have to make YouTube videos about whatever I want to make YouTube videos about. And so far, I'm just making reaction videos about the things I've done when I've been out with people. But I'm not like I was telling you earlier. I'm not the type of person that's going to be like, "Oh, hi guys, oh, I'm just over here with Liam Tufts and whatever." You know, it's not like I'm a 35-year-old man. So, and I think you're marginally older than me. I'm not sure.
Fraction.
But for me, right, I've got to put my thumb over my own face when I'm FaceTiming someone because I can't. I'm not like I start looking at myself. So I don't even feel comfortable like FaceTiming someone. I get awkward. I'd rather be on the phone to someone, talk to someone like that. So I'm trying to like acclimatize myself to the way things are now. But like I'm like a really simple person. I get up and I just like have a shit and I need to have breakfast and I go to the gym, go to the sauna, come back, look after my son, and then I go to sleep. You know, and then someone has to remind me like, "Oh, make a YouTube video." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So
how is your YouTube channel coming along?
It's got like 350,000 subs or 340,000 subs, so it's doing really well. But I need to put more content out there. The videos that I'm making seem to do about 300,000 views, 400,000 views, something like that. So it's not bad, but I just need to do more really because every time I don't get my bearings straight to really like. I've got a 2-year-old, so it takes up loads of my time to look after him. But whenever I'm thinking to myself like, "Oh, I need to do my own thing now," Tyler or Kurt or Tom will ring me up and say, "Do you want to go to this country now?" And I'll be like, "Okay, fine." So I'll go there, make the content, react to the content afterwards. Whereas really, I should be like focusing on doing my own channel and making my own thing to the point where I can hire my own security. But this is the position I'm in right now.
I'd tell you what, one thing to touch base on. In fact, probably we finish on this. So young Bob.
Yeah.
He's a very young activist.
Yeah, great guy.
Very brave.
I watched the full thing with...
I just couldn't believe how intelligent someone of his age was. I was absolutely dumbfounded, if I'm honest. It's such an impressive brain.
Yeah.
But also, you know, by his own admission, he's autistic. So he's going to be in situations where he probably doesn't even smell the danger. And I think a lot of people, certainly from the left, are taking full advantage of that and treat him like a human punch bag. I mean, what do you say to those fucking... Because that's bullying.
They don't really care. They just see him as a white male enemy. There's nothing I say is going to really make a difference. They just know that he's making great points and making them look stupid. So they want to try and tear him down as like a iconoclast or whatever. They want to try and like just destroy his reputation for the purpose of embarrassing him. For making him look like he's a nerd. People always like, "Oh, he's a virgin," or whatever. I'm like, he's on purpose a virgin. You know, like he's waiting until he gets married because of his religious conviction. You know, people are always trying to slag off and destroy his reputation. I think he's so embroiled in winning the argument logically with whoever he's talking to that he's not really focused on what's happening in the peripheral. You see what I'm saying?
Could you see yourself doing like a bit of a turning point job where you just plot up and start debating people?
Well, I think me and him are very similar. I've got my social skills are a little bit better. I'm not as, but I'm definitely on the same
Spectrum.
yeah, definitely on as he is, and I think we've got a similar sort of outlook on life.
Do you feel protective over him?
Yeah, I feel protective over almost everyone. Honestly, like when I see someone getting messed with on the street, like if I don't know them, I will just go and intervene because I just it's not even up to me really. Honestly, like when I see something happening, I just involve myself by my legs just start walking over there. I don't know, and I just start like. There's been plenty of occasions where I've had to help people or rescue people that have been started with, or just for no money at all, just because that's just who I am. So it just only makes sense that I fallen into this as a job because it's just who I am, really.
And just quickly going back to your YouTube channel, because the last time you was here, you didn't have a YouTube channel, so
No.
you've done brilliant to get it to the stage it's at.
Yeah.
So I'll put that in the link so people can actually follow your YouTube. So we'll wrap this up. Is there anything that I've not asked you?
Probably almost everything.
Okay, well in that case, can you give me the answers to all the things I haven't asked, please?
No.
What's the most exciting thing that you want to end this interview with? Freestyle.
Oh, you've made it weird now. I can't freaking say anything
Well,
like
you
that
made
now.
it weird.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Most exciting thing on YouTube
Or in life.
in life.
Something nobody knows.
You're taking me completely by surprise. I can't tell you the amount of different things that have happened to me in my life, and I couldn't put them in any kind of order, really. I suppose the best thing that's ever happened to me is having my son.
There you go.
That was the craziest experience, absolutely, because that was the most insane thing to watch and to see it happen, and like because when it was happening, I was just like in like work mode along the lines of like, listen, we've got to get through this, we've got to do what we need to do. And as soon as he came out, it was just like, oh my God, I was just like crying everywhere, you know. But yeah, it was a crazy situation. It was a crazy situation because he wasn't coming out, so they had to use forceps and stuff. And so when we got in there, it was like a alien abduction at the end. It was like terrible.
And seeing what you've seen, do you fear for his future?
Oh, I don't want to send to school. I really don't want to send him to school. Or the nursery he goes to is really, really nice, but I really like fear for what, you know. I mean, the thing is that like I've got no problem with anyone really based on their ethnicity or anything like that. But when I'm going past schools now, like it's like dominoes in the lens of like, you know, spot the white kid. There's like a few white kids here, a few white kids there. They definitely exist, but like we're heavily outnumbered by black and brown people. You know what kids are like. So kids go with people that are similar to them, and they exclude people and bully people that aren't in the group. So imagine what it's like. It's bad enough for us to be a minority as adults in our own country, but like for a child to be like not feel included by people that don't look like him, or you know, it worries me really because like it's you know, no one likes to be the outcast, do they?
No. And is it more the race or the culture that concerns you that will be different?
Just knowing what kids are like. As much as you want to try and make people blend together, whatever, kids with things in common with each other will go and sit with each other, whether they're emos or they're into football or they have their ethnicity in common. A lot of them will sit with each other based on their shared characteristics, and that's just what people are like. People are group animals.
Do you think you'll have any more?
I hope so.
What would you do if you had a daughter?
Raise it to the best of my ability and love it to death.
I mean, I'm saying this because I think about this often. I think, if I was to have a daughter now, knowing what I know, I'd sort of think, fuck, this is a big, scary responsibility now.
I'd be more worried about...
I'd be in a constant state of panic, I think. That's the best answer.
I mean, it's men get attacked more. Men are more the victims of violence than women are. It's more dangerous for a young lad to walk around than it is for a young girl to walk around because people feel more entitled to be up a lad than be up a woman. It doesn't mean that doesn't happen. I would be concerned for her safety, of course, but
and the pressures of social media
that's more what I meant
to be fabulous and to be beautiful, and it'd be very easy to feel like an outcast if you're a normal female.
If she's related to me, she's going to be a stunner.
Well, of course she is.
But the main problem is that like there's an easy solution that's being pushed onto children, which is just like be a prostitute on the internet and you can make millions of pounds, you know. And so that looks like a really, really easy career path to take when you're a young girl, and it ends up ruining your prospects later on in life. You end up being, you know, alone and miserable and shamed and all the rest of it. So it really worries me how, because women are more easily to, like all advertising focuses on women really, and all like psychological operations are done against women first and foremost because they're the easiest to mold because like they can't really fight and stand up for themselves. So men are more assertive and more like standoffish, and that's why they've got that's why there's a war on masculinity to try and soften us and effeminate, make us more effeminate. But it's easier to brainwash women, I think, because women have to rely on the group more in order to, and so like rather than saying I think this, they have to pass it through the filter of is it okay for me to think this? So all you have to do for to convince a woman of anything really is say that like all her friends are on it and think the same thing as her, or make her feel ashamed of like if you put the social stigma on women having children and being feminine, and then like make it look like they're not being girl bosses and they're being stupid and they're missing out on all these opportunities and they could be on yachts with living up being a celebrity or whatever. They fall victim to that much more easily, really, especially when you're younger as well, because they've got the world opened up to them because they've got what everyone wants, which is like obviously reproduction is that they're the key, they're the gatekeepers to reproduction. So as they're younger and fertile, and the world is kissing their ass. So like look at celebrities, how they often fall off after like having the world like kiss their ass for their entire lives and thinking they're the best. So if you get women that are already like in a vulnerable state to psychological brainwashing and that sort of thing anyway, and you've got the world telling them, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. So it's really easy to just convince them to go and make terrible life choices. But it's all by design to destroy the family. The family is the backbone of the community. The community is the backbone of the nation. So you want to destroy the nation, you take it down piece by piece. You start at the very beginning. So you break up the families, and that's that.
I say this all the time. I can see the bigger picture. I can see just what they've got in store for us. And yeah, the nuclear family, let's destroy that first and foremost. Let's make the man of the house feel like the woman of the house. Yeah.
When you're 18 and 19, you've literally got the world wrapped around your finger in terms of like you couldn't walk down the street without men giving you attention, and so then you got, like, let's say if you were living in a village 200 years ago, right? You'd have you, me, some people that you know from down the pub, and then a few women that live in the local area, and they've got these guys to pick from. Whereas now they've got the entire globalized sexual marketplace. So now, like, a random woman can get hit up by an athlete or by a celebrity, etc., and they're constantly comparing themselves to the amazing lavish lifestyles of people living online. So they're convinced while they're at their most vulnerable, youngest, most immature, most naive, least protected, and they've got the reinforcement of everyone going, "You're amazing, and I love you, and I love you, and you're so beautiful," etc. So there's no one to guide them really, and so without the family there, without brothers and fathers, or whatever, being like looking out for them, you've just got women who are vulnerable to brainwashing, and that's it really.
Well, I tell you what, Fred, I'm very glad that we ended this with you answering the question that I didn't ask.
What's that?
Well, I just said to you, what's the most exciting thing that's happened?
Oh, right.
Just anything I haven't asked that you want to say, and look where it took us.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you enjoyed that section of the interview, in fact, if you enjoyed any part of that interview and want to see more of the same, please like and subscribe to the channel. I ask you week in, week out. It's because I can keep delivering the goods if I get your support, and it costs you absolutely nothing. I'm going to put all of Fred's links, his new YouTube channel there. You've heard how well it's done. Jump over there, watch his work. He lives, on the seat of his pants, and he's a fearless individual. And I hope that you stay out of trouble, out of prison, out of hospital, and that you can come back here next year and tell me exactly what you've done, because I'm sure it's going to be action-packed. And until then, sir, keep handsome.
You as well.
I'll give it my best.
Yeah.